Hey guys, welcome to today's video where we are going to be talking about foundation. I have tried several foundations in my day and I decided that these are my top 10 foundations of all time in the moment today. I was inspired by my friend Charlotte Holdcroft. I saw her talking about her favorite foundations, so I will have her channel and her video listed down below. But I thought, you know what? What are my top 10 foundations, like of all time, of all of the foundations that I have tried? And I ranked them. So that's what we're here to do. From 10 to 1, I'm gonna take you through the foundations that I love and why I love them. But first, if you're new, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, this is the place for you. I would love for you to subscribe. But why don't we go ahead and start talking about foundations. Okay, so like I mentioned, these are my top 10 foundations like of all time. So they are not all currently in my makeup collection because I do try to keep a curated collection. I try to keep only the products that I am still using. So some of these will just be pictures and I will be talking about my experience. If I have videos, dedicated reviews with any of these products, I will definitely make sure that I link the product, but also that I list my original video underneath each one so that you can take a look and see my thoughts on it. But we're gonna go ahead and start with number 10. Number 10 is a foundation that is no longer in my collection, but it is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This is $52 at Sephora. I know now I am the shade L4 DeVille, but I don't think that was the shade that I had in this particular foundation when I had it a couple years ago. I think I might have had the shade Fiji, but DeVille is a little bit better for me. So I no longer have this in my collection. I used it several years ago. I did not use it up because this is a full coverage foundation. And I probably should have started with, I have dry skin. I like more of a natural finish, light dewy complexion. Those are my jam. I like more of a medium coverage and I really want my skin to look like my skin but hydrated and glowy and dewy. Those are my preferences. I live in hot and humid Texas, but my skin's dry. It's dry. I want to look beautiful, right? Those are my preferences. This is coming in at number 10 because it is a full coverage foundation. It does feel a little bit heavier on my face and it definitely is going to cover everything, but I like this as a special occasion foundation, and that's the way that I used it. When I was pregnant with my daughter Brielle in, when would it have been, 2018? November of 2018, one of my girlfriends got married and I was in her wedding and I did my own makeup and this was the foundation that I used because I knew that I could count on it to give me full coverage, to cover any imperfections that I had, but it would still look great on the skin. It just wasn't an everyday for me because it was a little bit heavier. It was a little bit more full coverage and more perfecting, and that wasn't what I was looking for day to day, but it was still a great, great foundation. And I had it in my collection for a long time, but after having my daughter in 2019, I had to basically declutter all of my makeup. My makeup went bad. I wasn't using makeup for a long time, and this was one of the foundations that I decluttered, and I just haven't repurchased it since because at $52, it is quite an expensive, quite a pricey foundation, and being one that I was only using on special occasions, I don't really think that I need quite an expensive foundation for just occasional use. You know what I mean? In the number 9 spot is actually the foundation that I am wearing today. It is by Hourglass. This is the Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. I do have the shade 5, and I feel like it looks fine on me right now, but I almost wonder if there is a little bit of a better shade match for me. It does go on kind of orange, I have to say, but I feel like it looks great now. This foundation is $58. This is the original that I had, a year and a half ago when it came out. This foundation is another nice foundation. It gives me more of a medium coverage, more of a natural finish, but I almost feel like it's more like medium, but on the full side. It's not full coverage. It is more of a medium coverage, but I have some that are medium and I can still see a little bit more of like my complexion or my freckles. This does give me more coverage, and I would say this one is not quite as dewy and glowy. It is going to give me a natural finish, but I feel like it's almost, they say soft glow foundation. It is almost like a soft matte, right? Like it's not flat matte, but I'm not glowy and dewy. I do prep my skin with lots of glowy primers and such, but I feel like It almost looks like my skin, but a little bit better, a little bit healthier, a little bit more illuminated, but a little bit more coverage than I typically go for, which is why it's in the number 9 spot. It's a good foundation. I like it, but this is one that oftentimes sits in my drawer just because I have favorites that I like better that I pick over this foundation. I still think it's great. I still reach for it. I still do like it. I really like the way my makeup looks right now, but it's just not a tippy top favorite because it is giving me a little bit more coverage and a little bit less dew than I would typically go for. And just reading from the Sephora website quickly, it does say that there are light diffusing pigments in here to deliver a natural soft focus finish and help protect against blue light. There are also blurring spheres to minimize the look of imperfections, fine lines, and wrinkles. You have, of course, white tea extract, vitamin E, and antioxidants. So it's supposed to give you this like blurred effect, this soft focus, this glowy, luminous look. And I feel like it does that. It does that. I just have some that I like a little bit more, but it's still a great foundation. So speaking of Charlotte Holdcroft, in the number 8 spot, I no longer have this foundation, but I bought it on her recommendation. Tom Ford. The Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte Foundation. I'm looking at the Sephora website and they only have 3 shades and it's $45. So I don't know if just Sephora is phasing out this foundation or if it's phasing out completely. After this video, I will look into it and I'll put like a little blurb or something letting you know if they are discontinuing the foundation. But it was a $90 foundation. I feel like I maybe paid like $88, $89, something like that when I purchased it a couple years ago. This one, I did enjoy it and I really liked the way that it looked on my skin. It's called a soft matte foundation, but I felt like it gave me a similar vibe to the Hourglass where it wasn't flat matte. It was more of like a satin finish. It looked like my skin, but I wasn't getting like the glowy and dewiness that I typically go for. It gave me more of like a medium coverage, but my skin looked perfected. And I did really enjoy this foundation. The problem was the shade was not right for me. I don't remember what shade I had. Whatever shade I had, it was not right for me. And so I found myself not using it. So here I had this $90 foundation. $90 foundation that I was not using simply because of the shade match. And I ended up decluttering it. I don't remember what I did with it. I imagine that I probably gave it to the girlfriend that I work with who has a similar shade match to me. But looking at this foundation on the Sephora website, it does say that it is a Longwear foundation with hyaluronic acid and again, light diffusing microspheres for a blurring effect and a skin-like matte finish. And I do feel like it gave me a skin-like matte finish. I did like the way that it looked. It was the sheer shade match that did it for me. So that's why it's in my top 10. I've tried tons of foundations. I'm gonna list a bunch of the foundations that I've tried in the description box so that you know what these foundations are going up against. I did really like it. I just wish that I had another shade match, but now, and it's like $90. Like I have foundations that I love with my whole heart that are not $90. So I'm not going to repurchase this one, but I still did enjoy it for the time that I had it. Coming up in the number 7 spot is a foundation that is new to me. I recently picked up the Fenty Beauty Ease Drop Stick Blur and Smooth Tint Stick Foundation. That's a mouthful. I don't want to talk about this one too much because I did just recently do a whole dedicated video. I did a review, I did a wear test, I talked in depth about it. So I'm gonna list that down below. But if you are interested, this is my number 7. It's $36 at Sephora and I did recently purchase this. So if you want to hear more of my thoughts, watch my video because I go into detail about this foundation. In the number 6 spot is Pat McGrath Sublime Perfection Foundation, which is $69. I had the shade Light 7. I'm saying had, it's no longer in my collection. I used a little more than half of the bottle, I believe, before it went bad. This is an expensive foundation, y'all. $69. And one thing that surprised me about this foundation is the light coverage that it gives. It is a liquid formula. It says on Sephora medium coverage. I got a light coverage with this one. Like I could still see all of my freckles. I could see any imperfections. I could see beauty marks. Like I could see my skin underneath and it was light and liquidy. Now again, as someone who likes a more light to medium finish, that did not bother me. I used this as like my everyday foundation for the longest time. 1, because of the price, but 2, because I did really like the natural finish. I felt like it was hydrating on my skin. It did not Like some foundations, I can feel them on my skin. I can feel them, not necessarily even that they feel heavy, but I feel like I'm wearing makeup. With the Pat McGrath, I did not feel like I was wearing makeup. It made my skin look beautiful, but you could still see my skin underneath. You could see my beauty marks, you could see my freckles. It looked like my skin, but like a better, more hydrated version of my skin. And because of the light coverage, all of the glowy, dewy primers that I went in with, my Auric Glow Lust, all of that could shine through the foundation, and it really made my skin look perfect and beautiful and hydrated, and it was a great everyday foundation. The only reason why it's no longer in my collection is because it went bad. It was in a project pan. I had it for a long time. The smell started to go off, and I didn't repurchase it because it is $69. And like I said, I'm trying to keep a more curated foundation collection, and I really want to use and love what I have already in my collection, but I would repurchase this again. It's in the number 6 spot. I do really love and enjoy this foundation, but there are some better ones out there. This next one surprised me. My number 5, coming in at the number 5 spot, is the Urban Decay Hydromaniac Glowy Tinted Hydrator Foundation. I did not purchase this immediately when it released because I have been very vocal on my channel about how I do not like skin tints. I should, more of a light coverage, glowy dewy, like that's my jam, but I don't like skin tints. If I'm gonna put a foundation on, I want to look like I have foundation on. And skin tints, I feel like, are just glorified tinted moisturizers. Like, it doesn't really do much for me. So I did not pick up this foundation when it was new, and I watched people's reviews on it, and I heard people talking about it, and then it was suddenly not so new anymore, and people were still talking about it, and people were still raving about it. But the thing that made me purchase this foundation, it is $35, but it went on sale during one of the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sales, and so I got it for like 50% off. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to try this foundation, this would be the time to do it. I picked up the shade Light 30, and y'all, it surprised me. It surprised me because it had more coverage than I expected it to. I was expecting it to be very, very light coverage, like very light coverage. And I want to say it was more of a light to medium. It was a liquidy formula. It was super hydrating. It gave me that like skin-like natural radiant finish, but I was getting a light to medium coverage, and it was looking like I had foundation on, not like I just slapped a tinted moisturizer on. So I really, really did enjoy this one. I wore it as a day-to-day for a really, really long time. My one issue with it is that I feel like it went bad. That's why it's not in my collection. I maybe had it for like a year. Granted, foundations, they do expire around a year, but a lot of my foundations, like the one that I'm wearing today, is a year and a half, if not almost 2 years old, and they still work fine. They still perform for me. But this one, I feel like it was just under a year. I mean, it was in the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale, so it could have been on the shelf for a lot longer, but it went bad. It started to smell bad. I had to get rid of it. This is one where I don't know that I would want to pay $35 for it again, but if it went on sale, like during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale, or if I could get it on sale at Sephora, I would definitely 100% pick it up again because it was a great day-to-day foundation, like wore it all of the time, and I really enjoyed the way that it made my skin look and feel. In the number 4 spot is another NARS foundation. This time we have the light reflecting foundation. I have the shade L4 DeVille. This is $52 at Sephora. And this one claims to be medium coverage, natural finish, good for redness, dark spots, uneven texture. And this is another one, when I look at the description, it says that it's supposed to be like a skincare makeup hybrid with ingredients that are supposed to benefit your skin as well as making your skin look flawless. Now, I would say this is definitely a more medium coverage foundation. It's going to give you more coverage than like the Urban Decay. It's going to give you more coverage than the Pat McGrath. It's going to give you more coverage than the Fenty. This is one, it's definitely not quite as medium full coverage as the NARS Radiant Longwear, but it gives me a more perfected base. It does have light reflecting technology that gives my skin more of like that glowy dewy look and a more hydrated look. I really like the look and feel of this foundation. I really don't have anything bad to say. It's in the number 4 spot. I do really enjoy this one. I wear it often. It's not quite in the top 3. There are some that I like a little bit more, but this is definitely a favorite of mine and highly recommend. Here we are in the top 3. I would love, before we go into the top 3, I would love your predictions down below. If you've been here for a while, if you know me, you know my preferences, you've heard me talking about foundations, what do you think my top 3 are? Pause me real quick and list them down below. Okay, because I'm curious. I want to know what y'all think. But in the number 3 spot is the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydro Rescue Moisturizing Foundation with SPF 45. This foundation is $54. Now, I know that Estee Lauder is known for her double wear. Double wear is very thick, very full coverage, very heavy on the skin, more for oily skin types. I have a dry skin type, but I heard good things about the Futurist foundation. My friend Smegs tried it. She was like, I think you would really enjoy it. So again, during an Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale, the Futurist went on sale for 50% off, and I picked it up and I loved it, y'all. Loved this foundation. And I don't know exactly when this video is going up, but Ulta is changing their 21 Days of Beauty to the semi-annual sale, and I do believe this is going on sale again, and I plan to purchase it if it goes on sale again, because I really loved the look of my skin. This was definitely more of like a medium coverage, but it gave me that dewy, glowy skin. I had a radiant finish. My skin was glowing. It was hydrated. It felt comfortable on the skin. And it had SPF in it, which I know, take it or leave it. I kind of go back and forth with the SPF. Like if I'm about to be in a wedding, do I want to wear an SPF? No, because you're going to have flashback. But on a day to day, y'all, I live in Texas. I am a natural redhead. I have fair skin. I need SPF. Is it going to be my only SPF? No, but knowing that I had SPF in my foundation was just like another perk. But this foundation, it was hydrating, it was comfortable on the skin, and it just gave me a dewy, luminous look that I loved so much. Again, it's no longer in my collection now because of declutters and it going bad and trying other foundations, but just know this is another one like the Urban Decay. If it goes on sale again, I am 100% picking it up. Okay, so number 2 surprised me a little bit. It did. It surprised me a little bit, but it's an empty. I finished it up completely, and I am talking about the Patrick Ta, what is its official name? Major Skin Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo. This is $52 at Sephora. I, as you can see, did not use the powder. I was not a fan of that, but I used up this entire foundation. Before using this up completely, I cannot tell you the last time I used up a foundation because I have so much in my collection. I always want to use my makeup up. That's what I want to do. I spend my money on it. I want to use it up. I used this up completely. I had the shade Light 1. This I heard very mixed reviews on. People either loved it or hated it. I didn't really hear a lot of in between. I obviously loved it, which is interesting because when I'm looking at the Sephora website, the highlights, it says that this is best for oily, combination, and normal skin. I have dry skin, but I feel like I heard a lot of people who had oily combination skin say that they didn't like this because first of all, it was a cream formula. It definitely gave me a natural finish, but I would even say natural glowy finish. I definitely feel like it gave me medium coverage. This was one where I felt like I need to set it down. Normally I don't set my foundations. I just set underneath the eyes, but I did feel like I needed to set this because I felt like the cream didn't fully set down completely. And perhaps if you have like oily skin or combo skin, that could be something that's bothersome for you. But I just find it interesting that it says that it's best for oily, combo, normal skin, and the people that I heard who enjoyed this were people with dry skin like me. It says that this is supposed to be buildable, breathable cream formula that melts into the skin and moves with the skin. Okay, yeah, it does move with the skin. This is one, like I said, I needed to set it down, but I didn't mind that. I loved the look and feel of this foundation. It felt good on the skin. My skin looked hydrated. This was my everyday. Go-to every day. It was easy to travel with because it was a cream formula. I didn't have to worry about it spilling. I would 110% purchase this again. Am I going to go out and purchase it right now? No, because there are other foundations that I want to try. But y'all, this is my number 2. I loved it. I was using it every day. I used it up. That's how much I love it. This brings us to the top spot. My number 1, my favorite foundation of all time. It is the reigning champ. This has been my favorite foundation for the longest. I have repurchased it time and time again, but boy, oh boy, does she come with a hefty price tag, and I am talking about the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I am in the shade 4, and you can see here my foundation. Y'all, I wear it all the time. Every day, every single day. I have to pry this foundation out of my hands to try other foundations. And let me tell you, every single time, y'all, I am not kidding, every single time I wear this foundation, I get compliments on my skin. People that see me in the day-to-day, in my everyday life, they are complimenting the look of my skin, the hydration of it, the luminosity. It says luminous silk because my skin looks like silk. And it is luminous, and it is hydrated, and it is glowy. Now, this foundation does run you $69. This particular bottle here is the smaller size, and it's $48. And I have purchased, I think, 2 of the full size. I think I've purchased 2 of the full size at $69. Or maybe just 1, and I almost used it up completely. But when I purchased it this time, I spent the $48 because I want to use every last drop of this foundation. I don't want any of it to go to waste because it is perfection, pure perfection in my eyes. Everything about it I love. Looking at the Sephora website, it says medium coverage. Yes, it gives me medium coverage. Liquid formula, natural finish, oil-free. It is the Allure 2018 Best of Beauty winner. I definitely feel like with this foundation, you're gonna get glowy, you're gonna get luminous, but you're gonna get a medium coverage. It looks beautiful, flawless on the skin. I am telling you, it is worth every penny. Definitely pick it up during a sale, but it is worth every penny. It is great for the everyday. That's how I use it. I use it every day. I'm not saving it for a special occasion, but looking at all of the foundations in my collection, if I have a special occasion coming up, this is the one I'm going to reach for because I just know that I can count on her. She's dependable. She's luminous. She's glowy. She feels comfortable on the skin. It is everything that I want. Everything that I want in a foundation, and I love the fact that you can get this smaller size, which I think is 0.6 fluid ounces for $48. You probably get more bang for your buck spending the $69 and getting the 1 fluid ounce, and if it is your only foundation in your collection, I recommend probably going that route. But I have several foundations, and I love this one so much that I want to be able to use it up. That's why I have the smaller size. And when I do use it up, I will purchase it again. I will always have this in my collection because it is my favorite. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's all there is to say. I love it. And so friends, there you have it. My top 10 best foundations of all time. Like I said, I have tried so many foundations. I will have the full list of, I'm sure there's a few I'm gonna forget, the full list of foundations that I can remember in the description box down below so that you can see what these 10 foundations are up against. But these are my favorites. These are the ones that I love with my whole heart. Again, y'all, rankings, take it or leave it, right? Like this could change next week, next year, next month, I don't know. But as of today, right now, these are the foundations that I know and love. So I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Have you tried any of these? Are any of these your favorites? What is your number one? What is your go-to? And I'm also interested to hear, like, I have dry skin. So if you have normal skin, if you have combo, if you have oily, I would love for you to leave your number one recommendations down below because there may be people watching this video who don't have dry skin. Maybe they have combo, maybe they have normal, they have oily. We would love to hear from each other. You guys are a great resource. So definitely share your favorites down below. But otherwise, that's gonna do it for this one. If you did enjoy it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. But quickly before I go, I almost forgot, I did want to give a special shout out. You guys may see I'm kind of like revamping my page a little bit. So like I have a new banner on my homepage, on my KBella page. I have a new intro, I have a new outro. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Stacy. I will have Stacy's information listed down below. She is a wonderful graphic designer and creator here on YouTube. So if you are a creator and you are looking for some graphic design work, I highly recommend her. She did a fabulous job. Thank you so much, Stacy. And again, I'm going to have her listed down below if you are interested. But that is going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.